Hi, everybody. I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm here today with my esteemed colleagues, Gold Derby Senior Editors Denton Davidson, Marcus James Dixon, and Daniel Montgomery. And we're going to do something a little bit different here today. We're going to go through all our final Emmy picks on Gold Derby in both the Primetime Emmy and Creative Arts categories. That's 56 categories in all, but with the Creative Arts Emmys coming September 7th and 8th, and the big Emmy show on September 15th. We're going to go over everything with lightning speed. Boom, boom, boom. Each of us will give our pick and maybe a brief reason why. And then it's on to the next category. And we're calling this Slugfest a go-go. At least that's what I'm calling it because it's lame. And
It's
uh,
fun.
that's what I think. Darn it. Um, okay. Are we ready, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
I like that
Okay.
you call us all esteemed. That makes me feel special.
That's what you got from that whole thing was esteemed. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good.
Marcus stops
Oh,
listening once he's been complimented.
all right. So we're gonna let's start. I think with the primetime Emmys, the September 15th show, the big show, comedy series. I am picking The Bear just because people are still going off of season two rather than looking at season three, which wasn't as good. I think The Bear will win, and Hacks will win next year. And what do you think, Daniel?
I think the Bear. I think watch out for Hacks though, because of the Bears. Maybe not as acclaimed third season, but the Bear.
And Marcus?
Sometimes I do wild and crazy things, and we're starting off with a bang. I'm going with hacks. I decided a few weeks ago I was going with hacks. I went to some FYC parties, some Emmy events over the past few weeks, and there's a lot of love for hacks, everyone. So that's when I switched. We'll see if I'm right.
Okay, the Hacks will have wins. Denton?
I'm gonna stick with the bear. I just have to go with last year's champ. I think it's too strong, but I have my eye on hacks. I can't disagree there. But that's a possible spoiler.
Excellent. Comedy actress. Okay, I am going with Jean Smart for Hacks. Speaking of Hacks, I think Io has fallen a little bit in the last few months in terms of hotness and buzz. What do you think, Daniel?
I think Gene Smart. I used to think this was a really close race with Io, but right now I think it would be hard for to pick anyone but Gene Smart for me.
Denton, you agree?
I agree. I'm going with Jean Smart. I think Jean Smart can win this category for as long as Hacks exists, if she wants to. And I think that's one of the reasons why Hacks is so strong in comedy series is because it's not going to sweep these awards. So I think I'm going to go with Jean Smart with Io as a possible alternative.
And Marcus?
I'm glad that Io got promoted, I guess you could say, to lead because she is the lead actress of that show, but there's no beating Jean Smart. She is the new Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Comedy actor, I am going with Jeremy Allen White because he has never lost an award show race yet for The Bear. And no one else really comes close to him in this category. Do you agree, Denton?
I agree. I mean, how can you go wrong with someone who's never lost, not just the Emmy, but anything? He just keeps winning. So, and all of these people have been here before, except for Owunatai, and I don't see him coming from behind to win on his first shot. So, Jeremy Allen.
No. What do you think, Marcus?
If I was a voter, I would probably be tired of the Jeremy Allen White speeches and I would give it to someone like Matt Berry. But sadly, I'm not a voter. It's going to be Jeremy Allen White.
And Daniel?
Yeah, it's going to be Jeremy Allen White. I could see some fatigue being there, but there's no obvious alternative in this category. So I think Jeremy Allen White just takes it. Maybe not next year, but definitely this year.
Comedy supporting actress, I think Meryl Streep for Only Murders in the Building. Although Hannah Einbinder has come on quite a bit of late, I think she's the only one who's got a real shot here. What do you think, Daniel?
I think Hannah wins, going along with Jean Smart for the first time. But Meryl Streep, obviously, you can't count out Meryl Streep, but she hasn't been dominant for this particular role at other awards. So I think Hannah's going to beat her.
Marcus, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Hannah, I think she submitted the season 3 finale, which was really the best she's ever been on that show and ever in her career. So I'm hoping that she wins this, but I mean, Meryl Streep is a tough competitor. So we'll see what happens.
Denton?
Yeah, I'm going with Hannah as well. But it's going to be a big night for her if she takes down
Wow.
Meryl Streep and Carol Burnett. That's going to be a pretty proud moment, and it'll be close. It's hard to go against Marilyn. It would be exciting for Only Murders to pick up a big win somewhere.
Mhm. Has
Hannah
Meryl
Einbinder wiping the floor with Meryl Streep and Carol Burnett.
has Meryl Streep won yet for this role? I know she was up at the Globes, right? But she didn't win there. I don't think she's won anything.
And she won
No.
Critics' Choice.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Comedy supporting actor. Moving along. I think Eben Moss Backrack for The Bear. I think Paul W. Downs has got a shot. What do you think, Denton?
I agree. I think it's Eben Moss Backrack. He's so strong, and in the episodes that stand out this season are some of his strongest as well. So I just think there's no denying him. Although I would love to see a Paul W. Downs surprise. I think he's the only real threat here.
Marcus, are you an Eben?
Yeah, I think Eben Moss Backrack has this one, and they love repeating in this category specifically. Ty Burrell won two, but not in a row. Eric Stonestreet won two. I don't think those were in a row, but like Tony Hale and Brett Goldstein, like there's a lot of repeats in comedy supporting actor.
Daniel?
Eben Moss Backrack, definitely. I don't think there is one clear possible upset here, same as Jeremy Allen White, although I do agree Paul W. Downs, the hardest thing was getting nominated. Now, be careful. There is a chance for an upset there.
Comedy directing, I think the Bear Fishes episode, of course, it's not really a comedy and hasn't been since the beginning of this show, but it's such a showy episode, and the direction is exquisite. No matter what you think of the show, it's pretty amazing. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going with Fishes, but I'm slightly worried because there are two The Bear episodes here in directing. So if there is a vote split, I mean, it's probably going to be Hacks Bulletproof for that would come up and benefit from that. But as Danielle is about to say, there is definitely a front runner for the two Bear episodes. The Fishes is way out in front of Honeydew. So that vote splitting may not be a thing here.
And Daniel?
I agree. The Bear Fishes is way up front, though I do think there is a possibility of a vote split. It happened to Ted Lasso, and Hacks took it then, so it could take it again. But I'm going with the Bear Fishes.
And Denton, I'm starting to get a little creaky here in my mind. Did I ask you about this yet?
You didn't, but I'm just going to repeat what everyone already said. Fish is going to and directing. I don't think Honeydew is going to be a threat to it. So Fishes, the Bear.
I think Fishes for the Bear is also going to win for comedy writing. Even though, again, not really a comedy, but it was one of those supersized episodes and had so many high-profile guest appearances and all that drama and all that Jamie Lee Curtis. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I agree. And no vote splitting in this one. I think this one is safer for Fishes to win writing versus directing, but I think it'll probably win both.
Denton?
I think Hacks is a little stronger here, actually. I think Bulletproof, when it's comedy writing, they like comedy writing and it's funnier, but I'm still going with the Bear. Fishes. I'm going to be boring because I think the Emmys are probably going to be boring.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of sweeping.
That's the thing. It's not us that have boring predictions. It's the Emmys that make boring winners.
No, it's gonna be all Bear and on the drama side. Why am I forgetting the name of the show?
Shōgun.
Shōgun. Thank you. It has show in the title, and I forgot the name briefly. Okay, let's move on to drama series. Speaking of, I don't think Shōgun can possibly lose. There were a lot of votes for The Crown, of course. Before Shōgun showed up, everybody was like, The Crown, the final season, there's going to be a huge sentimental vote. but I think Shōgun is far too strong. What do you think, Daniel?
I do. I think Shogun's too strong. It's got the most nominations. It's loved across the board. The Crown did get a huge boost in its last season, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough.
Denton?
Yeah, I think Shogun is too strong. It's interesting. This category is all these new shows, and then The Crown is sort of the old beloved. But then you've got like Slow Horses and The Morning Show coming in off seasons when they've never been nominated before. So it's really weird. But I'm gonna go with Shogun. I think Shogun's gonna break Game of Thrones record for 12 Emmys this year.
And Marcus, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Shogun is gonna win a lot on Sunday the 15th, as well as at the Creative Arts. And the big one, yeah, it's probably gonna go to Shogun. I do want to say I loved the Crown final season. It was so good. It was one of my favorite seasons, but I think this is Shogun's year.
And speaking of Shogun's year in drama actress, I'm looking at Anna Sawai to win. I think Imelda Staunton and Maya Erskine are both very strong here as well. Remember the time when everyone thought this was Jennifer Aniston's race to lose? Well, time marches on and things change. But I think it's Anna Sawai here. What do you think, Marcus?
I totally agree. This was kind of an exciting race, like a nail-biting race before Anna Sawai jumped in here. But once she came in, it seems like she's very close to a lock. I always say that word, but especially her episode, I think it's number 9 that she submitted, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, give it to Anna.
What do you think, Daniel?
I think it's Anna. I do think, Imelda Staunton could do it because all of the other Crown, queens have won for their final seasons on the show. So it's a possibility. But I think Anna is pretty solid.
And Denton?
I agree. I have Anna winning, but watch out for Imelda. Like Daniel said, Olivia Colman was ranked 4th in our odds that year that she won. So you never know when they're gonna bring up the queen.
If this is going to be a giant Shogun sweep, then Hiroyuki Sanada figures to be the drama actor favorite and winner. I certainly think he's going to win. I think very outside shot from Donald Glover. And I know Dominic West got a lot of love for the final season of The Crown, but I think Hiroyuki Sanada is going to get carried along in the Shogun tornado. What do you think, Dan?
I agree. I have Hiroyuki Sanada. And the Emmys do like Donald Glover, so if they want to give that show some love, that might be where they do it. This is Dominic West's first Emmy nomination, so I'm skeptical that they're just gonna go from ignoring him for so long to giving him a win. And I don't really buy the Gary Oldman hype that he's a legendary actor, but like we have Meryl Streep, some of us losing. I think Gary Oldman loses here to Hiroyuki.
Marcus, does Hiroyuki win?
Yes, and poor Gary Oldman, he didn't even get nominated for season 1 and season 2, and now season 3 he gets in, but people were predicting him to win before Shogun made the switch from limited to drama, but I think it's just so hard to predict anyone other than Hiroyuki. I mean, if Cosmo Jarvis was here, his co-star, then it would be more of a race, but he's not.
And Daniel, do you agree with all of this foolishness, or you think we're all crazy?
Nope. Also going with Hiroyuki Sanada, although I do think Gary Oldman has a better chance than maybe Denton's giving him credit for. The voters liked Slow Horses a lot more than I expected, so I have him ranked 2nd. But yeah, I think this is Hiroyuki Sanada's too.
And in drama supporting actress, finally we have a category where Shōgun is not competing. So I think I'm going with Elizabeth Debicki, as is I think the majority of people on Gold Derby, and possibly the majority of editors and experts. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I think Elizabeth Debicki is one of the bigger locks of this Emmy season. So I'm pretty safe that she's going to win.
Denton?
I agree. She might be the biggest lock in the acting categories, maybe other than Jeremy Allen White. I have Greta Lee as my upset, just because she's my favorite character on the morning show. So I'm just going to go against splits. I'm not sure that people are watching The Gilded Age enough for Christine Baranski to slip in there. So I have Elizabeth winning with Greta Lee as my spoiler.
What's your thought, Marcus?
For me, Elizabeth Debicki is the lock of the year. I can't even fathom somebody else winning. I brought my key to lock it in. And for second place, I actually have Holland Taylor for the morning show. Remember, she was a huge upset when she won for The Practice, and she was actually a recurring guest star who was competing and supporting. Now it's the exact same scenario. So if something crazy happens, it's going to be Holland Taylor that wins, but nothing crazy is going to happen. It's Elizabeth Debicki.
If Holland Taylor wins, she's going to have to thank you from the stage.
Please, Holland, thank you.
Drama supporting actor. Billy Crudup for the morning show is my pick over a couple of Shōgun actors in addition to many others. What do you think, Marcus?
This is a harder category. I'm going with Billy Crudup, but I have absolutely no faith that that's going to actually happen. It could be Jonathan Pryce, who had a really good season on The Crown. It could be John Hamm. It could be Asano from Shōgun. And I think it's one of those four, but I don't know which one. I'm just going with Billy Crudup because he's the odds front runner. Who knows?
How about you, Daniel?
I'm going with Billy Crudup. I also have very little confidence. This is the toughest drama acting race. I've got Tadanobu Asano in second place. If he wins, this is one of those categories. If he wins, just, wrap it up. Shōgun's taking everything.
And Denton?
I have Shōgun taking everything. I have Tadanobu Asano, and I think he's going to win here. I don't think Billy Crudup's going to get his second Emmy for the morning show. I think Jonathan Pryce could be a possible spoiler, but I will say John Hamm and Takira Hira, they're not taking votes away from Asano and Crudup. They're not as big of characters in the show, so I'm not worried about vote splits there, but I'm going to go with Asano from Shōgun.
Okay, and then we have drama directing, where I'm picking Shōgun Crimson Sky. I almost went with Mr. and Mrs. Smith First Date. I'd love to see Mr. and Mrs. Smith win something. It's such a charming, terrific, well done series, and I'd love to honor it in its first year, but I don't see it. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think Crimson Sky is considered maybe the episode of TV this season. People just are loving it, and I think that's a pretty safe bet for directing.
How about you, Marcus?
Yeah, Crimson Sky was stunning to look at, and shocking ending if you haven't seen it yet. And the one that I worry about is Sleep Dearie Sleep, because The Crown, they do love The Crown still, even though last year it went way down in nominations. This year it rebounded. So if there's an upset, watch out for The Crown, but I do have Crimson Sky winning for Shōgun.
And Daniel, do you as well?
I have Crimson Sky winning for Shōgun. I also think The Crown is a threat. Stephen Daldry has won this award for The Crown before, so watch out for him. I believe Stephen Daldry was the directing winner a couple of years ago. I might be wrong. Nobody look that up for me.
Then we have drama writing, where Crimson Sky, I think, is the favorite again here, although it's competing against itself, against Anjin, among other shows for the writing. I'm not sure if it's as strong in writing as it is in directing, but I'm still picking it. How about you, Daniel?
Crimson Sky, I agree, it's not quite as strong here because it has the potential vote split. But and in that case, The Crown really poses a major threat here with Ritz. So that's my second choice after Crimson Sky, and then I've got Anjin in third. But yeah, I think Shōgun will still take this.
And Marcus, do you agree?
Yeah, everything Daniel just said. I'm curious why The Crown submitted Ritz and not the finale, Sleep Dearie Sleep. I didn't look much into that. I wonder if it's because there's a co-writer on this one, and this way two people can win. I don't know, but maybe the writers don't care which episode it is. If they really just love The Crown final season, they'll give it to it. But I do have Crimson Sky winning for Shōgun, and I have Anjin in second place.
And how about you, Denton? Are you picking Fallout?
I'm not, unfortunately, for the fallouts. I would love that. Uh, Crimson Sky Shōgun. I really hope the Emmys this year aren't doing what they did that one year and bundling these by genre. Remember that year when Schitt's Creek won like 1,000 Emmys in a row, and it was just like, okay, okay, okay.
Oh my
Mhm.
God, it's like we
So
get it.
please,
Yes.
so please spread everything out because I'm expecting a lot of sweeps, and I hope they at least pepper them throughout the ceremony.
Yeah.
Limited series now we're going to, and we have, I think, Baby Reindeer became a phenomenon the minute that it premiered in the spring. And I think that momentum is going to carry it to victory, even though I loved Ripley and I loved Fargo and I really liked Lessons in Chemistry and Truth. This is a very strong category, but I don't think Baby Reindeer is losing here. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I agree. This category was so exciting until April. And then once everyone knew about the show called Baby Reindeer, that the race kind of ended at that moment. And I don't even know what's in second place. I mean, I have Lessons in Chemistry in second just because they really, really did a lot of FYC events, Emmy receptions and things like that to get the word out. If things like that matter, maybe it's not as maybe Baby Reindeer is a little bit weaker, but I don't think it is.
What's your thinking here, Denton?
I have Baby Reindeer, but I would watch out for True Detective, Night Country. That was the most nominated of all of the limited series. It got the most nominations. So they do love that show. I have Lessons in Chemistry in third, Fargo, Ripley. All of these are great. But I'm going with the safe bet here, Baby Reindeer.
And Daniel?
Baby Reindeer as well. It's interesting. It is the fourth most nominated of these five limited series, but it's not, that kind of technical show that you'd expect to see in a lot of creative arts categories. So I don't think that hurts it. But yeah, I would watch out for True Detective being the most nominated show, but I do think Baby Reindeer will take this out. I think we're looking at this year's beef.
Yep.
Moving on to movie limited actress. I've been going back and forth. I know that Jodie Foster is the choice of most, but I still think Brie Larson could upset her. It's the battle of the Oscar winners, and I'm going with Brie Larson in an upset here. How about you, Daniel?
I'm going with Jodie Foster, but this is one of those categories I'm not very confident about. I think Brie Larson or Juno Temple could take it. Juno Temple did win our Gold Derby Award over the two Oscar winners. So I don't know if that's telling or if that's just an online fan base kind of thing. So I'm going with Jodie Foster, but I think any of those three women can win.
Marcus, how about you?
I'm going to do a write-in vote for Jessica Gunning because she was the lead of Baby Reindeer, and if
It's
she
so
was
true. It's so true.
if she was nominated here, I think she would be winning lead actress in a cakewalk. But since she's not here, I'm going to do a Brie Larson as well, Ray. So you're not alone on that. But we're going to fall off that cliff together.
Solidarity.
But Jodie Foster, she wasn't really acting. You know what I mean? She was just being Jodie Foster. There was no real
She was
physical
being Silence of the
transformation.
Lambs, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, there was no physical transformation or anything like that. It seemed like it was very easy for her. And so for that reason, that's why I'm thinking the voters may go with someone else. Brie Larson had a much more difficult, challenging role. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So that's why I'm going with Brie Larson.
Denton, what do you think?
Yeah, I have Jodie Foster kind of by default, and I'm not really confident in that at all. I actually have Naomi Watts as like a shocking upset second place. The actors branch loved Feud Capote versus the Swan. So even though it didn't get into that series, with the actors branch voting for these, every acting category has someone from Feud in it. They clearly loved that show in terms of the performances. They like a movie star, which Naomi Watts is, although so is Brie and Jodie Foster. So I think Naomi is stronger than people are giving her credit for, but I have Jodie Foster still taking this one.
And moving along to movie limited actor, I feel like Richard Gadd for Baby Reindeer is a pretty, not quite a lock, but a pretty safe bet here. Even though I would have said the same thing about Andrew Scott a few months before Baby Reindeer premiered. What's your thought on this, Denton?
Yeah, I have Richard Gadd winning, but I think this is probably the weakest category for Baby Reindeer. Because he's going to win for limited series. He's probably going to win for writing. So they're definitely he's gonna have his moments, and there's so many good actors in this category. All five of these people could win, and I would be happy. So I have Richard Gadd, but this could be one of those Emmy surprise categories where you just don't see it coming.
What do you think, Daniel?
I think Richard Gadd wins this. I think it's a two-way race between him and Andrew Scott. If voters are thinking consciously that, okay, Gadd is going to win in another category, that could help Scott. But sometimes I think if they like you, they just like you. So, I can see all three branches going for Richard Gadd, kind of like they did for Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
What do you think, Marcus?
I just have a hard time thinking that somebody that no one had heard of before April is going to win 3 Emmys, producing, writing, and acting. I have him in second place. I have my 500-point bet on this category for Tom Hollander. As Denton said about Naomi Watts, I mean, this is a huge star. The acting branch loved Feud. He does the physical transformation. His voice changes. His physical appearance changes. He is the Capote in the title. Of course, Richard Gadd is the baby reindeer in the title. But this is a huge performance. And if things like that still matter, it's Tom Hollander.
It's that Ewan McGregor win.
Yeah,
years
exactly.
ago.
Movie limited supporting actress. This is, to my mind, the lock of the Emmys, and they would need to do an investigation if Jessica Gunning does not win. She is so good. It's just she's one of those performers in a project where it's unimaginable that anyone else could have even done the job. She is so good. Are you in agreement here, Marcus?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. She was my performer of the year in any category. I absolutely loved this role. She was perfect in it. I cannot wait to see her give her speech.
Denton, what do you think?
Jessica Gunning, no further comment.
Yeah, and Daniel.
Jessica Gunning, if this were a film, she'd be winning the Oscar for it. She's just too strong.
Movie limited supporting actor. I'm going with Jonathan Bailey for Fellow Travelers. This is one of those categories where I'm sure on the surface a lot of people would have thought, well, Robert Downey Jr., because he's Robert Downey Jr. for The Sympathizer, and that could still happen. But I think Jonathan Bailey, I think it would be a mild upset. What do you think, Denton?
Yeah, this is weird. I have Jonathan Bailey winning as well. And what's weird about it is I have Robert Downey Jr. in second, and Fellow Travelers and The Sympathizer did not do well overall with with the Emmy voters. And then right under them, we've got people from Baby Reindeer and Feud and True Detective and Lessons in Chemistry and Fargo, all these shows that did great. So am I crazy? Are we all crazy? I don't know. But I just thought Jonathan Bailey was so great. I'm sort of hope dicting that he wins, and I'm not going to change that.
Whether we're all crazy is a whole other separate issue. Daniel?
I've got Jonathan Bailey. I do think it's some kind of group psychosis. No offense to Jonathan Bailey, because I think he's fantastic in Fellow Travelers. It just doesn't seem to compute. But he's a co-lead in it. He has a huge emotional arc. He suffers from disease. It's this incredibly dynamic performance. I would watch out for Robert Downey Jr. He's the only nomination for The Sympathizer, so I'm sort of thinking about counting him out. But that same thing was true when Mark Ruffalo played dual roles, and I Know This Much Is True, and he still won. So, being the lone nominee might not be a deal breaker.
Marcus, are you going to make it 4 for 4, Jonathan Bailey?
Yeah, I am going with Jonathan Bailey. I'm not confident at all, but everything you guys said about why he's so good in this, you're all 100% correct. And before the noms came out, Robert Downey Jr. was looking pretty strong to win this, but after the noms, and he's the only nomination, he really, I think he's sunk in the odds, and that's probably why. But Jonathan Bailey, I think, he's a movie star in the making. He's going to be super famous in a few years. So the Emmys would love to put their thumb on the scale now and say, remember, we gave him the award first. Well, I guess
I do believe he's got a Jurassic World coming, I think.
Yeah, and Critics' Choice actually gave him the award first. So,
yeah. Movie limited directing. Baby Reindeer episode 4 is my pick. I think it's going to get caught up in the Baby Reindeer juggernaut. it was such a compelling, uh, nail biting, incredibly devastating episode. Different to some degree than the other episodes, with what happens to the protagonist, and really changes the whole direction of the series. What's your thought, Marcus?
Yeah, kind of a very violent episode, very gets under your skin type of thing. And that's, that's a lot of that had to do with the director. So I'm picking that one. Ripley is my second place choice. It's just so stunningly beautiful to look at, all that murder and blood. Um, no, I mean all the beautiful skylines and things. But yeah, I do have Baby Reindeer. I do have Baby Reindeer winning.
Daniel, what's your thought here?
I'm actually going out on a limb for Ripley on the theory that, when you are a sole director nominated for an entire limited series, that has tended to work out for you. Like I'm thinking Unorthodox, The Night Manager, they surprised in this category. So I'm going with Ripley, but Baby Reindeer I've got in second. I would not be surprised at all.
Denton, are you a Baby Reindeer man here?
I am a Baby Reindeer man, but I'm kind of like itching to switch on this one at the last minute because it is interesting how Ripley and True Detective don't have an episode. They have the whole series, and all these other ones just have the episodes nominated. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ripley or True Detective actually end up winning this.
No, it's a good point. Movie limited writing, though, I'm continuing with going with Baby Reindeer, even though again, I was the one who was calling up everyone and telling them you have to see this Ripley. It is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Then I was doing the same things with Baby Reindeer, so I'm basically full of it. I basically whatever emotion strikes me at the moment, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. What's your thought on the writing category?
For me, this is Baby Reindeer's strongest category outside of Jessica Gunning. I think this is where they for sure are gonna take a win, and Richard Gadd will at least get one Emmy.
Yeah, this is Richard Gadd's to lose, I think for sure. Marcus?
Yeah, I'm happy Richard Gadd's going to get the writing Emmy. He totally deserves it. Do we know, are the names on the ballots? And I think I've asked this before. Like if you're a voter and you are voting for the writing category, does it say Richard Gadd? Because that would even give him more extra credit points than he doesn't even need them because I think he's going to win it. But things like that always interest me. Like I don't know the answer. If somebody knows, please comment down below.
That's a good point. I'm not sure. Daniel?
I think Baby Reindeer, and to Marcus's point, I think people were well aware enough that this is a sort of an autobiographical story for Richard Gadd. So I don't think they necessarily need to be told that it's his story, and he's the writer of it. But I think he wouldn't even need to be the writer of it. I think Baby Reindeer would still win.
Mm-hmm. It's
real quick, just like directing for writing, Baby Reindeer and Ripley are the whole series with the writer, and all the other nominees have episodes, so they have that advantage in this category as well.
Yeah.
We're switching gears now to competition program, where it's basically a two-horse race. I think everybody would agree between RuPaul's Drag Race and the Traitors. And I've gone back and forth on this about 20 times, and I'm finally going back to RuPaul's Drag Race since it never seems to lose. And until it loses, it has lost. But I think the Traitors may still be a year away from hitting this. What do you think, Daniel?
I think RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm always worried about being a year behind, and not picking the thing that eventually dethrones the champion. So I am wary of the Traitors, but it's one of those things, like you said, Ray. RuPaul's Drag Race has won every year but one, it's hard to bet against it.
Marcus, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I'm going with RuPaul's Drag Race. The only thing that's beaten it in the past 5 years was Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, which was, this very uplifting, powerful show about female, body empowerment, things like that. And that's why it won, because it's so positive. And I don't really see any of these other four. They're all great shows, but there's nothing standing out to me like that. So that's why I'm going with RuPaul's Drag Race.
Nothing that grabs you emotionally.
Yeah.
Denton?
Yeah, The Voice used to grab you emotionally, and then that's why that show won so many years as well before RuPaul came along. And now it's sort of like the forgotten one. The Traitors is I would if I was voting, I would vote for The Traitors because I love it. I just think it's too trashy, and I mean that with the highest compliment. I mean nothing can be too trashy for me, and I would vote for The Traitors, but I feel like RuPaul's gonna walk away with another one.
And that brings us to Variety Talk series, where I think The Daily Show had a particularly strong year. I'm not going to say a comeback year because it never really falls apart, but I think an especially strong year, and having Jon Stewart come back as a part-time host helped. Even though the fact that they have the rotating hosts and don't have a permanent one would be interesting, and I think maybe voters would be thinking that that's an interesting reason to pick it all by itself. Or what do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I think this one is the Daily Show's to lose. And last year, the last season of Trevor Noah won, and not a lot of people predicted that. I certainly didn't. But I'm looking now about the who's actually nominated for this besides Jon Stewart and a million producers. The hosts are nominated. So Ronnie Chang, Jordan Klepper, Michael Costa, Desi Leidig, Dulce Sloan, they will all win Emmys if this show wins. And that makes me very, very happy. So not only do I think it will win, I hope it will win.
Daniel?
Yeah, the Daily Show to win this one. It's the only show here nominated for writing, so I think that's the kind of the key to unlocking this one for me. And I am also excited. The members of the news team don't really usually get chances to win at the Emmys unless they're also writers of the show, which is sometimes the case. So I'm really excited to see them all get a chance to win.
I hope they're all
And
there. I hope they all take the stage.
oh, they will. The writers always there's always like 50 of them up there when they give the writing Emmy. Denton, are you a Daily Show guy too?
Yeah, Daily Show. I don't think that voters know what to do here if it's not the Daily Show or last week tonight with John Oliver. So now that John Oliver has moved categories, I think it just goes back to the Daily Show starting last year with Trevor Noah.
Uh, there's even less of a choice. Well, I guess there's a two-horse choice here for variety scripted series where it's last week tonight with John Oliver or Saturday Night Live, and John Oliver never loses, and I don't think he'll lose here. Denton, do you agree?
No, and Saturday Night Live, it's not like it had one of its most epic seasons of all time. I mean, maybe this election cycle this fall will raise its profile a little bit, but I don't think that has any chance of taking down John Oliver.
Yeah. And Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, John Oliver in a walk here. I don't think Saturday Night Live poses much of a threat, at least not this year.
And finally, variety special writing to wrap up the creative arts categories. I'm going with Alex Edelman just for us. Almost did the Oscars because they had a particularly good Oscar cast, I thought, this year. But I feel like voters are going to want to pick a creative type for his efforts, and I think Alex Edelman seems to be the front runner on Gold Derby too. What do you think, Daniel?
I have no idea what to do in this category. I'm going with Mike Birbiglia because he's the comedian in this category I'm most familiar with. That is terrible logic, but that's what I'm going with. And like anyone wins this category, I will not be surprised.
Marcus?
You have one award show against four. These are four comedy specials, and maybe that will help the Oscars. I have the Oscars in second. I have Alex Edelman in first place. And the only reason I have him in first place is because I went to an HBO event about a month ago, and there was a bunch of HBO nominees there, like from Hacks, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Alex was there. And so if he's out there campaigning for votes, I hope he wins.
He deserves it. Denton?
Yeah, because I mean, that it shows that he wants it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. So I'm just going with Alex Edelman because he's the front runner, and I just can't see the Oscars winning a writing Emmy. It just seems weird to me. So I'm going with Alex.
Okay. That wraps up our primetime Emmy Slugfest. It's so funny. we meant to go really short, but we're incapable of going really short. So we're already about 45 minutes in, but that's okay. I think it's fine.
We'll go
we are
faster
now.
this round. Faster for creative arts. Jamie Lee
Should we
Curtis.
try?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna. I think I just think it's funny. It's just, we're just intelligent, verbose individuals.
We're too
However,
smart for our
okay.
own good.
I think that's it. Okay, so for the creative arts, which are September 7th and 8th, this coming Saturday and Sunday, if you're watching this week. Drama guest actress, everybody's picking Claire Foy. I'm picking Parker Posey from Mr. and Mrs. Smith in an upset. What do you think, Marcus?
That surprises me. Claire Foy has already won this category once for sitting in a chair and talking into a microphone. So she has a little bit more to do. So I'm predicting Claire Foy this time.
And Daniel?
Claire Foy more or less by default. I can't really see the others winning necessarily, but they could surprise. They always surprise in guest categories.
And Denton?
I would love to join you with Parker Posey. I have Claire Foy winning. As Marcus said, she won last time reading a speech off paper. So I'm just gonna go with Claire.
Oh, come on, join me on the loser side. Come on.
Maybe I will. Maybe I have a couple days. I might switch to Parker Posey because I would love to see her have an Emmy.
You know what though, Ray? Sometimes it's good to be the only one predicting something, because if you're right, you can
look like a genius. Exactly.
Yes,
especially because there's 3 from the same show. So it seems completely impossible. I know.
Right. And we'll all call you a genius.
That's it. Exactly. I count on you for that. Thank you. Drama guest actor, Nestor Carbonell from Shōgun. How about you? What do you think, Denton?
Yeah, I have Nestor, and I just want him to win because Lost is like one of my favorite shows of all time, and I just like him as an actor, so I'm going with Nestor here. And it's by far the most nominated show in this category.
I like John Turturro, but I think Nestor will beat him. What do you think, Marcus?
John Turturro does the drugged up thing, and then he's a truth serum that gets into his veins, and he's just acting all funny and silly, and that's the kind of thing that voters like when somebody is not in control of their faculties. So I'm going with John Turturro with Nestor at number 2.
Oh, you relate to somebody who's not in control of their faculties? Daniel?
I've got Nestor. I do think this is a close race with Jonathan Pryce, who has 2 nominations this year for Slow Horses, and for The Crown. Here he's nominated for Slow Horses. And John Turturro, the Emmys like him a lot, so I've got him in 3rd. I think it's any one of those 3. I won't be surprised.
Comedy guest actress seems to be maybe the second easiest category to pick at the Emmys. Jamie Lee Curtis for The Bear. I know that there are going to be some votes for Maya Rudolph, but this may be the best performance that Jamie Lee Curtis has ever given in anything, playing Donna Brazzato, the mother from hell in The Bear. What do you think, Denton?
Yeah, I'll just say Jamie Lee Curtis and keep us on time.
Daniel?
Jamie Lee Curtis, but Maya Rudolph, I think, is a bigger threat than people are giving her credit for.
Marcus?
And Jamie is probably going to win this 2 years in a row because she was so good in season 3 in the pregnancy episode. So be prepared.
Yeah, she's going to start collecting Emmys. She's going to have a whole shelf for them. Comedy guest actor, I think John Bernthal from The Bear, who gave the best performance of somebody who's already dead in a series ever. Not the actor, but the character. What do you think, Marcus?
I'm predicting funny here, and funny was Christopher Lloyd. I laughed out loud during his episode of Hacks. I am personally rooting for him. Come on, Christopher, you can do this.
Daniel?
I've got John Bernthal with Christopher Lloyd close second. He's got that legendary status, and it's a comedic performance as opposed to John Bernthal's more dramatic performance. Though dramatic performances win comedy acting Emmys all the time.
And Denton, you're going with Matthew Broderick, right?
No, I'm going with John Bernthal. I'm going in this Bear sweep. Although my concern there is Bob Odenkirk was also so good in that episode, and they're really going at it, and they're sort of a twofer. So they could actually sort of split, and we could see it go to Christopher Lloyd or Ryan Gosling. So who knows? But I have John Bernthal.
TV movie. I've gone back and forth between Mr. Monk's Last Case and Quiz Lady, but I think Quiz Lady will take it. It's distinctive. It's funny. It stands out. You don't see a lot of really funny quality. I mean, Unfrosted, but I don't think that was nearly the quality of Quiz Lady. And I think people like Aquafina and Sandra Oh. What do you think, Daniel?
I think Quiz Lady will win. It has the slight edge in the guilds. I think it won the Writers Guild Award. It was nominated at the Producers Guild. Nothing here has a whole lot of support from other guilds in the industry. So I've got Quiz Lady just by a hair.
Marcus?
In another Slugfest, we talked about how TV shows that are made into movies like Breaking Bad, Deadwood. There's another one that I'm blanking on.
The Kimmy Schmidt, Reno 911, Ray Donovan, over and over and over again, they lose.
They always get nominated, but they never win. So is there a curse? If there is, Mr. Monk probably won't win. So I'm going with Quiz Lady just because.
Even though the Academy does seem to love him. Denton, are you a Quiz Lady guy?
I was talked into Quiz Lady in our last Slugfest. Although I will say, if you look at like the critic scores on Mr. Monk's last case is way ahead of the rest. I think on Rotten Tomatoes, Mr. Monk is like 96%, and the rest of them are like below 80%. So we know critics don't really matter too much here, but I still think it's probably Quiz Lady just for originality.
Yeah. Reality host, RuPaul, what has he won? 9, 10 times here? 11 times, I forget. It's hard to imagine RuPaul losing. And until he loses, you can't go with anybody else. Although I have a feeling Marcus might want to go with Jeff Probst just because he is such a Survivor freak. Is that true, Marcus?
I would love to be predicting Jeff Probst here, but with RuPaul going undefeated and Alan Cumming coming in, I'm actually predicting Alan Cumming. And we talked previously about how this is a performance he's giving. He's not just standing there reading, from a script. He is playing a character, and that's what helped RuPaul win all those years. So I feel like this is maybe RuPaul's weakest year to win. So if RuPaul still wins, I'm going to predict RuPaul from now until the end of time. But I'm going with Alan Cumming this year.
Denton, how about you?
I'm sticking with RuPaul. He's undefeated, so I'm not going to go against the odds there. I would love to see Alan Cumming win, but why vote for someone who's never lost?
Are you sticking with the winners, Daniel, or are you going to the dark side?
I'm going to the dark side. I'm hedging my bets. I've got RuPaul winning competition series, and I've got Alan Cumming winning here. It's a showy performance. He's, like Mark says, he's giving a performance and not just like reading the rules of a challenge. I think, and then he's a previous Emmy nominee for acting. So I think he wins. But again, if you're betting on the undefeated RuPaul, you may not be wrong.
That's how the Gold Derby Awards went. Our own awards went RuPaul's Drag Race and Alan Cumming. Didn't we? So, our voters can differentiate, so why Emmy voters could too.
I do have a question.
It's possible.
This category, this host category will happen on the 7th or the 8th. And then let's say Alan Cumming wins. I think a lot of people will be switching their competition program prediction, which is not for another week. I think people will be switching that from RuPaul to the Traitors. So that'll be fun to watch if that happens.
I hope so.
True. Game show host. I was going back and forth between Kiki Palmer for Password and Ken Jennings for Jeopardy. I think Ken Jennings is actually the best host Jeopardy's ever had, and even better than Alex Trebek, which I know is sacrilegious to say. But I think Kiki Palmer is so entertaining and so good and such a bright light on Password that she's going to win. What do you think, Dan?
I agree. I think Kiki is going to win her second Emmy. I have her followed by Jane Lynch, who's also just collects Emmys like they're just toys. And Ken Jennings in last. I don't think he has the clout for this category.
Marcus?
Well, last time y'all made fun of me for predicting Pat Sajak, so I took him out of first place and put him in second. and I do have Keke Palmer winning. And as a viewer of Password in season 2, they're giving her more to do. She gets to do kind of like if there's a tie, she gets to announce the clues for the tie. So she has more to do this year than last year. So if she won last year, I mean, come on, she's going to win too.
Thank you for getting leaving Pat Sajak behind. I think that speaks to your character. Daniel,
I haven't left Pat Sajak behind.
no.
I'm still on Pat Sajak. I might switch to Keke Palmer before like the voting like turns or the our prediction center turns off at the very last minute. So watch this space for see if I change my mind at the last minute. But right now I've got Pat
where have I failed? No, it's nothing to do with me. Shut up, Ray. A game show. I think Jeopardy is going to take this one. It's perpetually the most popular game show on television, and I see no reason why it shouldn't win the Emmy. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I think Jeopardy wins pretty easily. It's won like 50 bajillion times. That it's the record holder, including when it was in daytime. So I think it wins pretty easily. It is known as the RuPaul's Drag Race of trivia shows.
Mm.
And I'm sure they wear that slogan proudly. Denton, what do you think? Jeopardy?
Yeah, Jeopardy in a walk.
And Marcus?
I switched to Jeopardy after last time, and I have Password in second.
But what do you have for Variety Special Live? I have the Oscars winning. I know a lot of people were talking about the Super Bowl halftime show. It's hard for me to imagine a halftime show winning an Emmy, but I guess they do sometimes. What do you think?
They do sometimes, but I just feel like the Usher one wasn't as popular as the previous ones, the Rihanna one, and especially the hip hop one with all of the different collaborators. So for that reason, I'm not going to predict the Usher Super Bowl halftime show. I'm going with the Oscars, which is I'm not confident at all. I feel like the Tonys wins this a lot. I don't have the category in front of me though, but yeah, I'm going with the Oscars. Why not?
Denton?
The Oscars, I don't think has ever won this.
Wow.
But I am picking the Oscars too, just because it got the writing nomination. It's the only one that's in for writing and the directing nomination. I do think it was the best Oscars in years. I remember that night still very well, and everyone being like, "Wow, it's back!" Like after so many years of disappointment, everyone just really loved that Oscar ceremony. So I'm gonna go with the Oscars.
Variety series writing, again, very hard to vote against John Oliver. And oh wait, did I skip over you, Daniel, in the last one?
Oh, yes. I'd
Sorry.
lost track too. I'm
Sorry.
going Super Bowl halftime show. I think the award shows cancel themselves out and Tom Brady cancels himself out.
Okay, good. Variety series writing, hard to vote against John Oliver for anything. He just seems to be an Emmy machine. Even though he's up against The Daily Show here, I think it's going to be Oliver. Not in a lock, but fairly comfortably. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, Last Week Tonight wins writing. Pretty much every year it wins series, so I don't think this year it'll be any different.
Marcus?
Sorry. Yeah, John Oliver. I mean, he wins this all the time. It really is the best written show of especially of these three. So give him another writing award.
Denton?
Same, John Oliver.
Yeah. Variety series directing, yes. I think Saturday Night Live. I think the one thing it should win is probably for directing. That's got to be a challenging job. I know it's won before. I feel like it's a more impressive directorial achievement than The Daily Show or Jimmy Kimmel Live or Stephen Colbert. So I think SNL. What do you think, Denton?
Yeah, I agree. This is one of its strongest categories, and it's won before, and it stands out as the one that's not a talk show.
Marcus?
Yeah, you said the word challenging. the Saturday Night Live directing is just simply more challenging than the others. I mean, I don't even know how it's allowed in this category because what they do is so different than the others.
Yeah, Daniel.
SNL, it is the apple in the bag of oranges, and it is the showiest directing achievement in the category.
Variety special recorded. We have, I think, the Dick Van Dyke 98 Years of Magic special is the one I'm going with, and was particularly well done. We have a lot of comedy specials besides, as well as Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden. I think there's going to be a lot of sentiment of people wanting Dick Van Dyke to win. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it reminds me of the Carol Burnett special winning, and I just think it stands out here as something different. So I think Dick Van Dyke's gonna take this category at least.
Marcus?
I would love if Nikki Glazer won this, our future Golden Globes host and former Snowstorm on The Masked Singer. But I think it's going to go to Dick Van Dyke, the former gnome on The Masked Singer.
Daniel, what's your choice?
I'm predicting Dick Van Dyke, entirely for Masked Singer reasons also.
And variety special, thank you for that. Variety special directing. I think the Oscars, one of the strengths of it was particularly well directed and well paced, and I'm picking the Oscars over Dick Van Dyke and the Tonys and everything else. What do you think, Daniel?
This is where I'm going with the Oscars instead of in the variety special live category. There are only 2 award shows here, so I don't think they all cancel each other out. And plus, the Oscars had that I'm Just Ken extravaganza. So I think they have the slight edge.
Denton?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Oscars here too. So I think the Oscars can win a couple Emmys. Do the Emmys have a problem doing that, do you think? Do they like awarding other awards shows? I'm not sure.
I think they love awarding other award shows.
Maybe it's a mistake of mine, but I have the Oscars winning this directing award as well.
I think the Emmys feel like the Oscars should reciprocate sometime and give them an Oscar. Marcus, did I
no, I'm going with the Oscars for this one. I'm not really confident at all. I have Dick Van Dyke in second place.
Okay, I'm going to pretend that we didn't talk about variety series writing yet. So we go back in order.
No,
let's
just keep going.
Are you sure? Okay. Variety series writing. We have Emmy animated program. I think The Simpsons is, it's had a creative comeback and renaissance of late. Even though I know a lot of people like Blue Eye Samurai, X-Men '97, I think The Simpsons deserves this. It's won, 15 times, maybe more, as it's in its 99th season. Actually, probably only 35th, but I feel like The Simpsons is going to win this one. How about you, Daniel?
I'm going with Blue Eye Samurai, on the basis of the 3 juried awards that it won, and the fact that it has arguably, some of the most prestige in this category.
How about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I usually don't care much about the animated race, but this year I'm excited to see what's going to happen because, I mean, Ray, you could be right. It could be The Simpsons again. But I think Daniel could be onto something. Those 3 juried awards were huge. It tells you that specifically the Emmy branches of those categories really like the show. They really think that it's special and that it's well designed. And it just, for me, that's number 1, and number 2 is X-Men, which is the more popular fun show. But is X-Men, does it have the same cachet? I'm not sure.
Denton, what's your pick here?
Blue Eye Samurai, and they mentioned all the reasons that I don't need to.
Okay, good. I'm glad to stand out on a limb with The Simpsons on my own. Voiceover performance, I will probably have a little bit more agreement here. I think Maya Rudolph for Big Mouth. Hank Azaria has already won a zillion of them for The Simpsons. Sterling K. Brown for Invincible, one can make the argument, but I think it's Maya's. What do you think, Denton?
I have Maya Rudolph winning again, but watch out for Sterling K. Brown. He wins Emmys. He's not only won for acting, he won a narrator Emmy that was unexpected. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling takes this one either.
How about you, Marcus?
Yeah, it looks like Hank Azaria hasn't won since 2015, so maybe the voters have cooled on him. Maya, though, has won 3 times in the past 4 years. She only lost to Chadwick Boseman posthumously. So I think the smart money here is on Maya.
Is your money on Maya too, Daniel?
It is, Hank Azaria, she would actually tie Hank Azaria is one of the voiceover artists with 4 Emmys for character voiceover performances. So she would actually tie him in that regard if she wins, and so I think she's going to win. Just inertia.
All right, moving on to narrator. I think I'm picking David Attenborough just because it's basically like picking God. He is like the voice of God at this point. If it's either him or actually it is just him. It's I mean, there is no one. I mean, or more. Well, Morgan Freeman has also sometimes been mistaken for God, but I think it's Attenborough. Even though I would actually personally love to see Angela Bassett win for Queens. It seems like as for narrators, they tend to favor men. What do you think, Dan?
Did you say me? I'm gonna go with David
Yeah,
Attenborough.
yeah.
David Attenborough. He's the king here, and I have Morgan Freeman in second place.
Yeah. Marcus?
Angela Bassett. I think this is
You're
her.
just a big Angela Bassett fan.
I know. I've been predicting her since our prediction center opened. And I mean, you're probably right that it's going to be David Attenborough, but I just want to say I'm the biggest Planet Earth fan in the world, and I didn't even know there was a Planet Earth 3. So what does that say about me?
I don't know. What does it say about Marcus, Daniel? No, because you missed answer.
I'm going with David Attenborough. I'm always going to predict David Attenborough unless he's nominated against himself or Barack Obama.
Smart.
There you go. That brings us to a structured reality program where I'm picking Queer Eye, just because, and I have absolutely no confidence in that pick. But it just seems like the likeliest of the bunch and the surest bet. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, Queer Eye has won this quite a bit, and Shark Tank used to win this. I think it won 4 in a row, maybe like 10 years ago or so. But I feel like voters have moved on to Queer Eye, and so until something else wins, I think we were talking last time about how great it would be if Antique Roadshow finally won. But until that happens, I'm going
That's
with
right. How about you, Denton?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Queer Eye. I think it's just again the show that keeps winning, and that's what's current, and not a lot changes very quickly at the Emmys. So Queer Eye.
And ain't that the truth? Daniel?
I've got Queer Eye at the moment. This was another category at the very last minute, I might change to like Shark Tank or something because there was so much behind the scenes drama on the show, and it might have cost the hosts hosting nomination. But I'm not sure how many people in the Television Academy know that or care. So it's been winning every year. So unless they revert back to Shark Tank, which they might, those hosts did get nominated. I'm going with Queer.
There are a lot of Shark Tank hosts that are being presenters at the Creative Arts. I'm not sure if that's a tip off or not. We will soon see. Unstructured reality program. I'm actually going with Welcome to Wrexham. I was switching back and forth between that and Love on the Spectrum. What do you think, Daniel?
I'm going with Welcome to Wrexham. I agree it's between those two shows. They've never competed against each other, but they did. But the last time they were both eligible, they both swept their categories. So it's going to be one of those two, I think. But I'm going with Wrexham.
Marcus, are you going with Wrexham?
I'm going with Wrexham. It won 5 Emmys last year, which is a huge amount of Emmys.
Out of 6 nominations, right?
I mean, how could you go against it? So until something
Yeah.
crazy happens, I'm going to be predicting this one probably for the next several years.
Denton?
I'm going along with it. Wrexham.
Okay. that brings us to documentary series where I think we might have some disagreement here. I think Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, is going to take it. It became kind of a mini phenomenon in the industry, and a lot of buzz and a lot of chatter at the time, and a lot of shocking revelations at the time it premiered. And I think that should help put it over The Jinx Part 2, for instance. What do you think, Marcus?
Quiet on Set was a little icky and gross. The Jinx Part 2 just wasn't as monumental as Part 1. So I'm copying Denton. He said last time he was going with Beckham because they love these big sports doc series. So I'm copying him. I hope he's right.
Denton, are you still going with Beckham?
I'm going with Beckham. It got the most nominations out of all of these, and I don't think Quiet on Set has the artistic value that sometimes these documentaries need. And I think it has the subject matter, that a winning subject matter, but they always like an artistic vision, and Beckham has the cinematography, the editing, and yada yada yada. So I'm going Beckham here.
Daniel, are you going Beckham?
I'm going Quiet on Set, but I am a scaredy cat, so I might switch to Beckham just because of peer pressure.
Good. I'm glad you're a man who holds tight to his morals and ethics and choices. Documentary special. I think we'll have some disagreement here too. I think The Greatest Night in Pop, also a lot of buzz, really well done. Really gave Lionel Richie another big shot of fame, which I think he was desperately in need of. I really loved the Albert Brooks doc as well, and the Jim Henson. What's your pick here, Denton?
I would vote for Greatest Night in Pop if I was an Emmy voter, but I'm not, and I think Jim Henson, Idea Man, will win here.
Marcus, what do you think?
I'm actually going with the Steve Martin doc special. It was really popular when it came out, and they absolutely love this guy, except for last year when he got snubbed for Only Murders, which was really weird. He's back this year. He's nominated for Only Murders. So I don't know. Overall, he has 16 career nominations, and he won for writing The Smothers Brothers. I think it's time that he wins again. It's been decades since this guy won.
Oh my God, he won for writing The Smothers Brothers. That would have been in like 68, 69.
Yeah, 69 is what this is.
Wow. Daniel, what do you think? Something about someone that, who didn't reach their peak in the 60s?
Someone who reached their peak in the 70s, Jim Henson, Idea Man. I think he's going to win it. Has the most nominations, writing, directing, editing. I think he gets it.
Documentary filmmaking. I don't know a huge amount about this category, but I'm going with Beyond Utopia. When I looked at Going to Mars, at first I thought Going to Mars was the Nikki Glaser project, and I thought, wow, that woman sure gets around. But no, I'm going with Beyond Utopia. How about you, Daniel?
I'm going with Beyond Utopia just because it was the closest of these films to the Oscar, and I think that will give it the edge here.
Denton, what do you think?
Yeah, Beyond Utopia. It was an Oscar frontrunner until it was not.
That's right.
Now I think it's the Emmy frontrunner.
Marcus?
Yeah, Beyond Utopia for the awards cachet, as they mentioned.
Hosted nonfiction series or special. I really love Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr. I think it's a terrific show, somewhat underappreciated. And I feel like it's and its first time around as a nominee, it's going to get rewarded. What do you think, Marcus?
I'm going with Conan O'Brien Must Go. And I don't have it in front of me, but I believe he's won 4 Emmys before. I think 2 were for writing and 2 were for interactive creative achievement and interactive programming or something like that. But he's never won a series race or a program race. So this would be his first time. And I'm really rooting for him. I hope he does it. I love this show. It's so funny. He travels the world and meets all these weird people and meets some of his fans from his podcast. So let's go, Conan.
Daniel?
I've got Conan O'Brien must go, but without Stanley Tucci or a late great Anthony Bourdain in this category, I don't think there is a clear frontrunner. So I'm going with Conan O'Brien, sort of by default.
How about you, Denton?
I have Conan O'Brien as well. I agree. I agree with what everyone said.
Good. I'm the outlier as usual. Main title design. I I loved the main titles in Lessons in Chemistry. I think it was almost the coolest thing about the series, and it was actually somewhat underappreciated, underrated series in general. But the main titles are just beautifully done, really slick and interesting, and of the period. What do you think, Denton?
Um, you have me questioning my choice. I mean, it's an inspired speech, Ray. I'm going with Shogun though, just because I just feel like it stands out a little bit different. Everything is always sort of like these trickle downs and images weaving, and Shogun is just like a boat sailing through sand. I don't know. I just I'm picking Shogun.
Daniel, how about you?
Picking Shōgun sort of by default. It's always hard for me to figure out the Emmy voters in this category. How they're exactly judging.
Marcus?
Shogun, that boat, weaving through the sand of the ocean water as sand. It's very memorable, and I think that's gonna push it over. But I have different thoughts over in the music category.
Yeah, I was going to say good. I because main title theme music is our next category, and my thought, I'm still going with Lessons in Chemistry here for the music as well. Even though I think this is a tougher one, I always was going to pick Masters of the Air and it upset. But what's your thought here, Marcus?
So I just rewatched all five of these a couple days ago, and the Shogun one just, no one alive can hum that theme song. Nobody. And so I took it out of first place. I put it down on number two. If it wins, it's because of the love for the show overall. But I did put Lessons in Chemistry in number one, Ray. The music's it really stands out, and it's the only one with lyrics here, which I think is important. The Paul Morrell run is good. The Masters of the Air one, I wanted it to be so good, but it was a little bit long and meandering. I think if they just cut it down to a minute, it would be perfect. And then the feud one, I like when the swan sounds pop up at the end, but I think Lessons could win music, main title music, whereas Shogun wins main title design. So I think they could split.
Yeah, what do you think, Denton?
Yeah, title design and title theme music have not won like the same show the award since Stranger Things in like 2017 or something. So they generally don't go together. I still have Shogun winning, but I would like Palm Royale to win. I have that in a strong second place. I'm tempted to move that up. When I listen to all of these theme songs, Palm Royale is by far my favorite of the theme songs.
What do you think, Daniel?
I've got Shogun. I'm music deaf to when it comes to scores and themes. I couldn't hum any of these.
But you're such a music guy outside of that. I mean, you're the Gold Derby music
It's
maven.
it's my I was gonna say my secret shame, but I just admitted it publicly, so I guess not.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought that. Music for series. So we're entering basically Daniel's favorite categories. Music for series. I like Only Murders in the Building. I think it really is jaunty and fun, and I've interviewed the guy who does the music, the composer for a couple of times on Gold Derby, and I like him a lot, and think he's really smart. Shogun, of course, is very distinctive for the period for feudal Japan, but I'm going for Only Murders in the Building and maybe a mild upset. What about you, Daniel?
Shogun, going by the odds. I'm playing it safe in music categories.
How about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going with Shogun. It's an epic show, has an epic score. Things like Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, Severance, The White Lotus, those have all won this. Very popular shows that won many, many other categories. So that's why I'm going with Shogun.
Daniel?
Denton, Shogun,
I mean,
Shogun,
excuse me,
Shogun.
Denton. Hey,
Yeah,
hey, come on, come on. They both start with a D. Give
I'm
me a
on a
break.
Shōgun roll, and I'm sticking with Shōgun here for music. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the stronger categories.
Well, now music for limited series is our next one, and I was disappointed that Baby Reindeer was not nominated. I really wanted music to stalk by as one of the. Actually, I don't even know if they had any music now that I remember. But I really liked the music from Fargo. I really felt like it really was distinctive and gave us the same kind of flavor that the Oscar-winning film did. Um, how about you, Marcus?
Yeah, the Fargo score. It's peppy, it's quirky, it stands apart, and I'm going with that one.
Denton?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do here, so I'm just copying everyone else, and I'm going with Fargo as well, and hoping that you all are right.
And Daniel, with your deafness of music in these categories, what do you think?
Well, here I'm going a little bit against the odds. I'm picking Lessons in Chemistry now because of its dual nomination for main title theme music.
And by the way, Fargo has 5 nominations here for the music for a limited series. It's only won once. It won for season 3, so at least it's on the board.
There you go. Good. Music and lyrics is the next category, and I'm going uh, again with Only Murders in the Building. It just seems like, boy, what a strange collection of nominees. When Only Murders in the Building goes against the Tattooist of Auschwitz and against Saturday Night Live,
Mhm.
it's this is this most schizophrenic category at the Emmys. Daniel, what do you think?
I think it's going to Only Murders in the Building, which we should note would be an EGOT for Pasek and Paul, the songwriting team behind Dear Evan Hansen and La La Land. So that would be a historic moment, and that's what I'm predicting.
Denton, are you predicting the same?
Yeah. I think most of us have Saturday Night Live in second place and that Maya Rudolph monologue, but it's I'm gonna go with Only Murders in the Building here.
And Marcus, you too?
Yeah, I think this is a 2-horse race. It's probably Only Murders in the Building that's going to win, and SNL would be the upset if that happens. I hope Pasek and Paul are there. I hope they're going to be at the Creative Arts Emmys because if they win, it would be a monumental moment.
I just want somebody to go up to a microphone and shout, "We got the EGOT." Uh, music supervision. There we go. There we have Baby Reindeer. And I'm picking Baby Reindeer to win here. Again, an interesting collection of nominees. I feel like if there's going to be a big sweepy juggernaut for that show, uh, which there most likely will be, it'll carry a lot of the crafts categories like music supervision. What do you think, Marcus?
I have Fallout winning this for those, 50s and 60s songs that they use down in the bunkers. And I really don't know what could win this category. I mean, remember the year Stranger Things had that running up that hill song? It was everywhere, and that was like one of the locks of the year. We don't have anything like that this year, so any
Yeah.
one of the 6 nominees could win.
Daniel, what do you think?
I've got Baby Reindeer, although I'm thinking about those 50 songs from Fallout, and I'm reminded of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel winning this, I think 2 or 3 times. So I'm tempted to switch to Fallout.
Yeah, three in a row they won.
In Denton?
I have Fallout. I don't really remember the specific song from Baby Reindeer. That's not what stands out to me about that series. So I feel like this is somewhere that Fallout could actually win. These are categories that can become very random. It's not they're often not part of sweeping shows, so they can be bigger upsets and more interesting. Although Fallout is the front runner at Gold Derby right now.
Drama casting seems like almost a lock category for Shōgun. I mean, with all of those amazing roles and the way it was beautiful, so beautifully cast, it's hard to imagine anything else. So many parts too. Sometimes volume is what wins in these casting categories. It's hard. It's unimaginable anything else could win. Would you agree, Dent?
Yeah, I mean, I have all of the casting categories going along with the shows that I think are going to win. So maybe we can just go through all three of these, each one of them, to
Yeah.
give us a final sprint to the end.
Drama, comedy, movie, limited casting. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
are
so
we
I'm going
in agreement
Shōgun.
on?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm going with Shōgun, The Bear, Baby Reindeer. Those are my three casting awards, and I just think that all of them are going to dominate their genres and in categories. So it's easy. It's an easy choice for me.
Yeah, all three of those, the Bear, phenomenal casting, especially, I mean, when you look at all those guest roles, even though I'm sure a lot of these big stars, from what I gather, called them up and hit them up for work. They still figured out a way to cast them and come to a deal. So I'm agreeing Shōgun, The Bear, and Baby Reindeer. Marcus?
So I'm doing Shogun, The Bear, and Baby Reindeer. Shogun because of the immense cast. You're right, Ray. It was a huge cast, and not just the main characters, but everyone, all the supportings, all the guest stars, all the background extras, like monumental achievement there. And comedy casting is weird to me because I mean none of these are first year shows, so they're going to give it to a casting director who just cast guest stars. And sometimes that happens. We saw Veep do that. Veep won 3 in a row for seasons. I think it was 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to go with the Bear here, even though I'm predicting Hacks to win series. I'm going with the Bear for casting. And then Baby Reindeer, I mean, nobody knew who these people were a few months ago, and now they're huge stars, all of them. So that's congrats to the casting director. And this is an example where it wasn't like they didn't hire Tom Cruise or Meryl Streep. Like they hired people that really, really
These are all unknowns.
deserve the roles.
Yeah, yeah. Daniel?
I'm going with the trifecta: Shogun, The Bear, and Baby Reindeer. The one I'm questioning a little bit is The Bear. Like this was the category that Abbott Elementary won a couple of seasons ago. It has all those child actors cast every season. Stranger Things won for casting when it had its brand new child cast. So I think that's a possibility. But beyond that, I think the front runners are solidly the front runners.
Okay, well, I think that's it. We made it through 56 categories in a giant sprint. We're all out of breath, but we got it done. It wasn't quite as sprinty as we planned, but in under 90 minutes, I think that's pretty impressive. If you haven't voted, please do. The Creative Arts Emmys are going to be Saturday and Sunday, September 7th and 8th, and the Primetime Emmys on the 15th. And and we will be checking in after that and assessing the winners after the fact. And please, thanks for joining us, and thanks for making it all the way through. Take care.